red, with his eyes lit on the lead. The tears don't stop the fire, it's killing time.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Big surprise, they dropped a brand new official Boys Season 2 trailer video, so we'll break it down. There's a whole bunch of new footage, a bunch of Easter eggs, and there's a couple really big new characters that they're bringing from the comics to Season 2. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I'll be doing videos for Season 2 just like I did them for Season 1. We also kind of know when it's going to premiere, so I'll explain that at the end of the video too. We start with an opening shot of Homelander doing his Superman thing, floating down. This is a very Superman-esque shot. He was originally created to be a dark parody of Superman, just like the Seven is meant to be a dark parody of the Justice League or the Avengers. But he slowly floats down, his face covered in blood, with a very strange look on his face. It's almost like he's going, "Aw, shucks," like he's not sad about something, more surprised in a caring way, like he cares deeply about the thing that he's looking on. The interesting thing that they do with Homelander in this trailer is that most of the footage is just him in and around his son, which I think obviously makes sense because they left off on that cliffhanger at the end of Season 1 with him meeting his son for the first time. Your mommy didn't tell you, I'm also your father. Everybody make all the Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker jokes that you want. I do think there are going to be a lot of jokes about that during the season. You even see the severed hand that Huey is holding later in the trailer, so make even more Star Wars Empire Strikes Back jokes. You see the two of them standing on top of the roof of his mother's house as if he's getting ready to teach him how to fly. Maybe something just goes really bad with that because his son is only half super. They play it really fast and loose about what he's capable of passing on in terms of abilities to his offspring. It might wind up being a Superman Connor Kent situation where his little Superboy son only gets some of the powers that he has, not everything. We already know that he has heat vision just like he does because his eyes light up red when he's staring into Homelander's eyes. But like a really good example is the Connor Kent can't fly like Superman flies. He does have a version of tactile kinesis that lifts him off the ground, but it's not flying in the traditional sense. There's a bunch of new footage of the female acclimating way more to life out of captivity, talking to Frenchie here with a shiny new bejeweled set of brass knuckles that say bossy. There's also a scene of them running out of a hospital with a security guard that's had his head ripped completely open with them wearing these same outfits, so it's probably connected to this scene. Speaking of people getting ripped apart or blown up, there's a bunch of footage with people exploding for crazy reasons. Like there's this restaurant scene with the person from Vought from last season that got fired because of all the Starlight stuff. She's screaming because somebody just explodes inside this bar and splatters against the window. You see all these other normal people flailing around in the mess that's left after. There's another scene in a separate place with somebody getting splattered against a window, and then a whole bunch of Black Noir just opening up, ripping through tons of people. I know so many people were excited to see him go crazy during Season 1, and they completely downplayed his character. There was the brief scene with him fighting the female just to show you how badass she was. But without getting into super spoilers or anything like that, he does have a lot of secret super abilities that he just hasn't shown you yet. They've just been completely selling him as one character when really he's a completely different person. The thing about Black Noir in the comics, though, is that they've changed a couple things about the way he's portrayed on the TV show. The actor in real life who plays that character on the TV show is an African American, but in the comics, it's a very different character that's Black Noir underneath that mask. So unless there's some big twist, I'm not expecting it to be completely like the Black Noir comic book arc. For everyone that's read the comic book, please don't post spoilers about Black Noir in the comments. Frenchie looking like he's rigging a bomb to what seems like milk bottles, like babies' milk bottles. Mother's milk is also one of the boys, but in the comics, drinking his mother's milk gives him a measure of super strength. But they didn't really include that in Season 1, so I don't know if it's going to be a thing during Season 2. But later, I love this, is so funny and creepy at the same time. You see Homelander drinking some milk from that bottle in the creepiest way possible. I'll give you one guess what kind of milk that is, given his mommy and daddy issues. Talk about creepy, rejected, got milk ads. There's Butcher lining up a sniper shot, Huey, Frenchie, and Mother's Milk at what seems like a campsite, so maybe this is them just doing some boys group training out in the field. The way they cut this scene of Homelander at a press conference and then the female right after him implies that they're hyping up some sort of Homelander versus female fight, which seems like a natural progression given how powerful she is. She's not as strong as Homelander, but of all the boys, she's currently got the best shot at hurting him. Homelander is capable of being injured, it's just that it has to be someone stronger than Homelander or someone using a weapon that's stronger than Homelander. And there's only 3 or 4 people in the comics that are capable of doing that, and we've only met about half of those people already. Stormfront is one of the big new characters that is almost as powerful as Homelander, not quite as strong, but still one of the strongest superheroes on the planet, so I'll explain that character in a second because she does not appear during this trailer, and they made a couple changes to the comic book version of the character. The Deep is back. He still looks like he's living in disgrace out in Ohio. Remember, Vought kicked him out of the 7 and banished him for all that bad press. They didn't care about the dead dolphin during that botched save, and they didn't care about the sexual harassment charges from Starlight. They cared about the bad PR, so they're like, okay, you're done. You're going to go and live in Ohio off in obscurity for a little while, so everybody will kind of forget about what you just did. There's this weird shot of Black Noir in the suburbs looking like he's staking someone out on top of someone's roof. This might be him stalking Homelander and his son, keeping tabs on them for Vought. Queen Maeve is at the site of this big urban disaster. Starlight looks like she's starting to enjoy all the fame and attention. Her slutty-looking new costume doesn't bother her that much anymore. The way they shoot her with Queen Maeve's picture right next to her, and then she kind of turns her head with all the cameras, makes it seem like they're implying some kind of conflict between the two of them over Starlight's rising popularity. But I think that's a big misdirect because in the comics, Queen Maeve also wants to help out the boys because she thinks that Homelander and the stuff that the 7 and Vought are doing is just as terrible as everyone else. They bring back Giancarlo Esposito's character from Season 1. He's probably one of the new Vought characters that's taking the place of what Stillwell used to do during Season 1. Because remember, he was Stillwell's boss at Vought. He was more concerned with their plans to get supers in the military and eventually the government, so it's just a natural escalation. The boss behind the boss is now making himself more known. If you're a big fan of the Mandalorian TV series, everybody loves Baby Yoda, of course, but Giancarlo Esposito is playing a former Imperial Moff who probably won't debut till towards the end of that series, so if you are a big fan of his, he'll be doing really cool stuff on The Mandalorian really soon, too. Love the shot of Homelander coming to hang out with his son randomly and Butcher's wife, or former wife, answering the door like, oh crap, now I have to deal with this asshole again. The boys go boating. For some reason, it seems like they're chasing someone. This would be one of the very few times that the Deep is actually useful anytime the adventure takes place on water. Really excited about this scene of Butcher versus Black Noir. Remember, he's not only badass at martial arts, it also seems kind of like he has a measure of super strength too. Then Homelander just choking the crap out of Starlight in this elevator. Then there's just a parade of middle fingers from the female, Queen Maeve, and Homelander walking out of a building, implying that Season 2 will just be more of everyone hating on Homelander. So as far as I could tell, there's no new footage of Stormfront in this trailer, and I didn't see anyone that looked like Tech Knight, but he could also be a bigger part of Season 2, just because he's such a big part of the next part of the story that they're doing from the comics. Stormfront is supposed to be the original superhero on planet Earth created during World War II by Nazi scientists when they came up with the formula for Compound V. In the comics, the character is meant to be more of a parody of the Shazam character from DC and Thor from Marvel. The Tech Knight character is meant to be sort of a mashup of Iron Man and Batman in the comics. He has a giant bat cave, he makes his own technology. He doesn't have any natural superpowers, he uses his technology to give him his abilities. Obviously, the trailer says it's going to premiere next year, but based on what Carl Urban said when they wrapped production a little while ago, it's going to premiere around the same time at the end of July, right around Comic-Con, just like Season 1 did. There's a whole bunch of other trailers coming this week, and obviously my Mandalorian Episode 5 video will post tomorrow. So while you wait for everything, click here for my brand new Marvel Black Widow trailer and Easter eggs, and click here for all my other Boys Season 2 teaser trailer videos. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.